Hello, my name is Haley Littlefield, and this is my early childhood intervention plan. So, first is the challenging behavior. In an early childhood classroom, a 4-year-old child, Isaac, loves playing with blocks. Isaac exhibits great verbal communication and motor skills, but struggles to share and transition between activities. During block time, Isaac insists on not sharing the blocks he has and trying to take his peers' blocks. Isaac starts to get emotional because he does not want to share and pushes his peers away. Later, when it is time to transition, Isaac throws a tantrum. He refuses to clean up his space and move on to the next activity. Isaac throws the toys and starts yelling. Target behavior. Physical aggression towards peers, yelling, throwing toys, refusal to follow instructions. Some additional information to gather for behavior. How often does this behavior occur? What steps are being taken already by the teacher? And how does Isaac act around his peers in general? In terms of Isaac himself, does this happen with any other stations or toys? Or is there parental influence involved? Where to get this information? There's many different ways you can get this information. One is through asking the parents what they've noticed. Next, you can ask the assistant teachers or any other person that could have observed through the classroom environment. You can also just do observations in class yourself, observing how Isaac acts in certain situations. You can also just ask Isaac directly. Ask him how he feels in certain scenarios. Ask how sharing and other stuff makes him feel in general. He knows himself best overall. Next is the functional analysis of behavior. The first one is escapism. Not wanting to transition, avoidance. Really avoiding moving from one thing to another, trying to escape. The other one is attention seeking. This can be seen through yelling, being aggressive, just overall wanting the attention from teachers and peers. So some intervention strategies. The first one is behavior teaching. This includes positive reinforcement. When Isaac follows instructions or acts in a positive manner, giving him a sticker or some other reward, maybe a reward box or just positive affirmations, can make all the difference. The next is clear expectations. Showing Isaac what the expected behavior looks like, sounds like, what it is in general, just kind of honing in, like, this is what we want you to do, this is how we want you to act. So Isaac has something to go off of. Lastly, visual timetable or schedule. This can help Isaac in transition. It can help Isaac know when a transition is coming up, being prepared to let go of the blocks, knowing how much time he has with the blocks, can be very helpful, and so it's not as sudden when he has to transition. Some other strategies include communication training, so demonstrating ways to communicate with peers and teachers without getting physical or yelling. This kind of goes off of clear expectations, but giving Isaac phrases or like showing him proper body language to do with his peers in order to achieve the same result as it would be for getting physical or yelling. The other is planned ignoring. So when Isaac demonstrates the attention-seeking behavior or starts having a tantrum or something like that, ignoring it, not giving him the attention he wants from it, and then just redirecting to the next activity. This will hopefully stop the behavior, because if he realizes that there's no reaction to it, then there's no need to do it. So next is how I would talk to families. I would obviously start with Isaac's strengths, compliment sandwiches, some people would say, but you don't want to go off in a negative light at first and then have the parents get defensive or like think in that like mindset of like there's nothing good. So really being like, oh, Isaac is so creative, has a great mind, we love his stories, we love his energy, stuff like that. And then going into, but we have noticed some challenging behavior, blah, blah, blah. But making sure we really start with that positivity so that the defensiveness doesn't come right away. Next is focusing on partnership. Obviously, if Isaac is exhibiting some behavior at school, there's most likely that behavior at home as well, with siblings or with somebody else. And so asking the parents, hey, have you noticed this happening at home? Could be helpful as well, so we know like what actually triggers the behavior. Also emphasizing open communication between just the school and home. Next is providing an action plan. So sharing what the intervention plan is, telling them the importance of doing it at home as well. Obviously, if the behavior or if the intervention plan is only shown at school, then it will be only associated with school. And that can make Isaac think that he can act however he wants at home, but at school it's different. It gives a negative connotation, but it also gives a, like, this only happens in certain contexts, like, type of mindset, when really it should happen all the time. You can also provide resources for that as well. Next is collabing with the family on goal setting. They might have goals in mind that they want for Isaac, and so working together to create those goals can be very beneficial and make sure that they just feel like they're involved in what their child is doing. For the goals that I created, long term, by the end of the school year, Isaac will share without aggression and be able to transition without yelling. These were obviously two of the bigger targeted things that we wanted to fix, so having those done by the end of the year would be really helpful. Two of the short-term goals I have is within 2 weeks, Isaac will use phrases like, can I have that, instead of just taking it 70% of the time. Another goal is within 4 weeks during transitions, Isaac will transition without aggression 3 out of the 5 days of the week. These are two simple goals that I think can be accomplished, and then we can eventually move up to like 4 out of 5 days and then 80% and stuff like that. The deficit type is skill deficit. Isaac lacks the skills to communicate and transition when frustrated or with feeling that emotion. Replacement behavior, that can look like using taught phrases like, can I have that? Using calming strategies like breathing or walking away, walking to a quieter corner, that kind of stuff. Also daily check-ins, consistent praise and positivity, making sure like when Isaac prohibits behavior that we like, that we really reinforce that in positive light, being like, yes, Isaac, and doing daily check-ins to just see how Isaac is feeling. Follow-up plan. So finally the follow-up plan. Frequency of review would probably be bi-weekly. The goals that I set up were like every 2 weeks, and so you kind of would re-examine the goals as well as the plan at the same time. I feel like that makes sense. For data collection, teachers will track instances of challenging behavior and Isaac's use of strategies, like with tally marks or on a piece of paper or something, just tracking when he uses those, maybe even just when the challenging behavior still occurs. So if he now uses it for a different thing, like he fixed the intervention for this one, but then now he's channeling the targeted behavior towards something else, like that kind of stuff. Adjustment, if we realize that progress is not being made, we can obviously adjust the behavior, or not just the behavior, adjust the intervention plan to give it more support or a more individualized strategy for certain scenarios. Really just at those bi-weekly reviews, if a goal is not met, seeing what can be done to get that goal to be met. Finally, the evaluation of success. If the challenging behavior is reduced and there's an increase in positive behavior, the intervention is successful. So if the challenging behavior doesn't show up as much, the challenging behavior, I won't say disappears because it probably won't disappear, but reduces, then the intervention has worked and we will keep going forward with it and we will keep striving for success. So yes, anyway, thank you for listening. Have a good day.